this is how we play Bloodbound. Now, Bloodbound, it's a game of deduction. It says it's a game of deduction, bluffing, and betrayal, and that's all fair for 6 to 12 players. And it works at all of those numbers. I think it's good. It doesn't try to bill itself as something as a game to be played for less than 6 players, because really there's other games to play. If you've got 4 or 5 players, you can play something else. But if you're just looking for a filler, and you've got 6 to 12 people who all want to play a filler of the game together, and you're going to have fun with it, not take it too seriously, then Bloodbound can be an enjoyable game. So this is how we play Bloodbound, which is only a little different than how the rules would state to play it. But so I'm going to include the rules of the teach of the rules for the most part. But I'm going to talk about a couple things we do a little differently and why. So the whole point of the game is that there are thematically, you are vampires at a masquerade ball, and you're just playing a game that vampires play with each other, where they split into 2 teams based upon clans. So they split into they have a red clan, or they have the red rose clan, and they have the blue wolf clan. I'm going to put the Inquisitors aside, and this is a big difference in how we play the game. Okay, so without the Inquisitors, you just have these vampires. So everybody you're going to do a mix and the shuffle and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to deal out these rolls face down. And everyone's going to get a player reference, and this player reference actually also serves a purpose with its notched out card. So don't skip the player reference. Everyone needs to get a player reference. It has a mechanical use as well as being your player reference. And you have these tokens, this knife, and these cards. And these cards, you're just going to separate by their backs. They kind of tell you on the other side what they do, but it will be rolls that give out these cards. Some of these, have the same sort of card in different colors, like the green, purple variations of that. You just separate it that way, and there you go. Okay, so you got some cards set out, or the small card set up. So let us say we're doing a typical 8-player game. What you would do is you first separate out all the red in the top corner. Don't look at this corner at the moment. Look at this corner. All the red cards in this corner and all the blue cards in this corner. You're going to shuffle each of these decks independently. And because you've got 8 players, you want even teams. It's a team versus team with hidden rolls. So I would take 4, it's half of 8, set the rest aside without looking at them. Shuffle these, better than I'm going to do here, okay? Again, take 4, put them with the other 4 that we've selected, put the rest out of game. Now you've got 8, which is exactly how many players we said we have in this example. I'm leaving the Inquisitors out, and I will explain why. In an even player game, you would never use the Inquisitors anyways. They would just always not be used and be out, okay? The Inquisitors, per the rules, come into play when you have an odd number of players, but we're going to come to that in a moment. So in our example, we're going to 8-player game, even teams, 8 cards. 4 of these are blue, 4 of these are red. But we don't know which 4 blue and which 4 red. The values, the numbers, also known as the ranks, up here in this corner, they run 1 through 9. And they run 1 through 9 in the blue and 1 through 9 in the red. And they're essentially analogous. They're identical between the 2 colors. It's just, so each team has a 1, each team has a 2, each team has a 3, and so forth. And they do the same things, okay, based upon their rank. So the player reference card will tell you the special ability of each player rank, 1 through 9, and also the Inquisitor. But it will also tell you what damage tokens, but we're going to come to that in a moment, okay? But once you've shuffled your 8 cards together, 4 there's going to be blue, 4 red, but we don't know which, everybody's going to get a random card, okay? So you deal out all of them, and the others, okay? And each player is going to secretly look at their own card, and then they're going to cover their card with their player aid like this, so just the bottom corner is showing. Then everybody will simultaneously just show this bottom corner to the player to their left. This just gives some starting information, because if the player to the left of me is on the red team, they're going to see this red rose, and they're going to be like, oh, you're on my team. And that's just some starting information. Meanwhile, I am going to be seeing the allegiance, the clan allegiance of the player to my right, because they will show me, and maybe they're showing me a blue, and I'm like, oh, I now know. I don't know what rank they are. I don't know what number they are. But if I see a blue wolf here, and I know I'm red, I'm a red rose, they're on the opposite team. That's just some starting information. So everyone is going to reveal just the bottom corner of their card, which doesn't have really any other information other than allegiance, to the player to their left. And you do that in a circular fashion. Regardless of how you're seated, pretend you're in a circle. Okay? Then, the way play goes is the knife starts out in the middle. And per the rule, and it's fine to play it this way, we haven't house ruled this at all. The first person to grab the knife just takes the first turn. Someone grab the knife. And then they will point the knife at another player, and they say, and this is vampire masquerade theme, so it's useful, in my opinion, to do the theatrics with it. Meaning, camp it up, have fun with it. I stab at thee. Okay, I stab at thee, Jonathan, right? Or whatever. Or Cindy, I stab at thee, right? You just point the cardboard knife at them. Now, Cindy has 2 options. Let's say this is, I don't know Cindy's role. I don't know. I might not know whether she's on my team or not at the point I'm stabbing at her, right? I'm trying to determine things. But let's say this is the card that Cindy has in this example. She knows what it is, I don't. She can choose to just take the hit. If she gets hit because she chose to take the hit, or she couldn't avoid taking the hit, she will take a damage token of her choice of one of the 3 options here. Every card has 3 options, right? The options are listed here. You have 2 allegiance token damages you can take, and you have a rank token. You can only take one of each one that is shown. So in other words, Cindy can only take her number 2 token once during the game and put that in front of her as a damage token. She can do that once. Now the next 2 she'd have to take the question marks. Or she could take a question mark, second time maybe take a question mark, and third time have to take the 2. The point is she can't just take 3 question marks because she's only showing 2 question marks. So she can only take at most 2 question marks. And then she will have to take her 2. Okay? So if first time she's being stabbed, she's probably going to take a question mark. Why? Because a question mark doesn't immediately reveal whether she's on the blue or red team. She doesn't necessarily want me or other people at the table to know. But even if she did want me to know, she doesn't get to let me know because she doesn't get to take blue tokens or red tokens. She only gets to take question mark tokens. So, but what I will be able to deduce, I've stabbed, she's taking the hit. She's not dead or anything. She's just taking one of 3 hits. Is because she was able to take a question mark token, I'm going to look at this character ability reference of mine. I'm going to look at my player aid here, and I'm going to go, which ranks are able to take question marks. Well, she can't be a rank 1 of either team because they can't take question marks. She could be a rank 2, a rank 3, a rank 4. She could be a rank 7, a rank 8, or rank 9. Those are the only ranks that have question mark tokens that they can take. Now, let's say later in the game, she gets stabbed again, and she decides to take a second question mark because she can, because of this. She took this one, and now she's taking this one. Well, now I've got more information. I know she can't be a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5, or a 1, because none of those roles can take 2 question marks. She has to be a 2, a 3, or a 4, because those are the only ranks that can take 2 question marks. So now I still don't know necessarily what team she's on, unless I've been able to deduce that from her gameplay, from like who she's focusing her attacks on, or who, if I know her neighbor's on my team and my neighbor has been able to saw her, blue corner at the beginning, or, I said my neighbor, the person across the table from me, if they saw this and now, and I know, and I happen to know they're on my team and they're attacking her, then I'm going to presume that she's on the opposite team from me, that she's blue and I'm red or something. But I'll know that, she's a 2 or 3 or 4 regardless. Okay. If I'm going to get to what happens when you take your rank token, I'm going to get to that in a moment. Okay, so I haven't forgotten that, but we're going to get to that in a second. So let's go back to, it's the opening turn in the game, random, I grabbed the dagger, so I'm taking the first turn. I pointed at Cindy and go, I stab at B. If she could, instead of just taking it, she could say, doth anyone wish to intercede on my behalf? Which is just a fancy way of saying, hey, does someone want to jump in here and take this hit for me? Anyone else at the table who has not, and this is important, who has not yet taken their rank token as damage can offer to take it. So she might get 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 offers to take that hit. Of those offers, she could choose none of them. She could get 2 offers and she could go, never mind, I shall take it upon myself. In which case I hit her and she takes a damage token. But she could, but because she got offers to intercede on her behalf, let's say Timothy over here offered to intercede on her behalf, or maybe someone else did. Timothy and James, but she chooses Timothy. She goes, I accept, I accept thy sacrifice, Timothy, hand up, however you want to say it, right? So Timothy, by interceding, he's going to take the hit, but he doesn't get an option. He has to take his rank token. So let's say this is Timothy's playing this character here. Timothy will have to take the 7 in this case because Timothy interceded. You can only intercede if you have not yet taken your rank token, your number token. And if you do intercede and you take the hit, you have to take your rank token. So now Timothy can no longer intercede at any future point during the game because he's already got his rank token. But the point of taking your rank token versus like even Cindy on her turn, if she had just taken the hit, she could have chosen to take her rank token instead of one of the question mark tokens. Because when you take your rank token, regardless of whether it was a hit originally, aimed at you and you just accepted to take it, or if it was aimed at someone else, but you offered to intercede and they accepted your intercession, so you do intercede, and therefore you have to, you take the hit as your rank token. Regardless of how it occurs, when you take the hit as your rank token, that is the point in time. That it is at that moment that you do your character's special ability based upon that rank token. So if Cindy were to take the hit and choose to take the 2 versus the question mark, the assassin's special ability is force a player to suffer 2 wounds. Then give the dagger to them. So Cindy could just turn around, she could target me because I targeted her, she could target someone else at the table and say, you get 2 wounds. There's no possibility of intercession because it's not a normal attack. It's the assassin ability going off in that moment. But then that person will get the dagger, which means it will be their turn next. Okay. When something isn't given the dagger to somebody this way, the dagger just normally goes to whoever does take the hit. So if Cindy takes the hit herself, Cindy would take the dagger and get the next turn to stab at someone else. Or if Timothy offers to intercede, Cindy accepts the intercession. Timothy intercedes. He takes his 7 because he has to take his rank token. He does his berserker. Force the player who attacked to suffer 1 wound. Timothy revealed that they are a berserker, and now I take a wound. Timothy might not even know if they're on the same team as me or not. I might not know if I'm on the same team as them or not, right? But regardless, I have to choose to take a wound. And I could take my rank token, and then I would do my special ability. Or I could just take one of my other tokens, which, let's say I had this character instead. Let's say I was this character instead of this character. I might just take a red token. I'm not going to reveal that I'm a 6, but I will reveal that I'm on the red team, because you'll notice here on the character reference, aside from question marks, only blue players can take blue token damage, wounds, and only red players can take red token damage, wounds. So if someone is taking a red wound, it is because they have a red token symbol here, and they only have a red token symbol here if they are a red player. You're never going to see a blue wolf token symbol here on a red rose player, and vice versa. So this is the guaranteed way of, if I take a red wound, no one perhaps no one yet knows that I am a 6. They probably don't. I haven't revealed my rank token, but they know I'm on the red team. That is irrefutable. As opposed to when Cindy takes question marks, she could be on the blue team, she could be on the red team, we don't know. We know we can narrow down what rank she might be out of a set of options, but we don't know what team she's on necessarily. But here you would know I'm on the red team, you just don't know what rank I am. But you would know I'm not ranked 2, 3, or 4, because if I was a 2, 3, or 4, I couldn't take a red token, I could only take question mark tokens. That is how the deduction in this game works. It's by doing wounds to other players. And then what those wounds are give you information, either their allegiance or their rank. And I'm going to discuss why rank is important to know in a moment. But going back to this example here. So let's say Timothy, I did an initial attack towards Cindy. Timothy offered to intercede. Cindy accepted Timothy's intercession. So Timothy intercedes. Timothy has to take his rank, so he does a damage to me. I decide to take a red. Now they all know. Even if they don't know that they're on the same team as each other, they now both know that I'm red and not on their team, right? So each of them will now know that they are on a team opposite me. I'm red, and they each individually know that they are blue. But Timothy now, because he was attacked, and the effect of the attack did not say to give the dagger to someone else, he would get the dagger, because whoever took the last damage, the last attack damage, will generally get the dagger. The exception being the assassin, where it says give him the dagger, right? The berserker says the player who attacked you, force the player who attacked you to suffer 1 wound. It does not say give him the dagger. So the berserker keeps the dagger in that case, and then because they took the wound, they get the dagger. Their effect gave me a wound back, but it didn't give me the dagger because it was not an attack. It was just their ability. The assassin said give the dagger to that other player. Okay, that's the difference. So now it would be Timothy's turn, and he could turn around. He could choose to attack me because now he knows that I'm on an opposite team from him. He could choose to attack someone else. He may turn around and attack Cindy because he may have interceded for her without even knowing whether she was on his team or not. That's a perfectly valid thing to do. So he might turn around and attack her himself to try to get information. So why are you trying to get information? What is the point of the game? The point of the game is to do the 4th wound. Notice that every character can only take a maximum of 3 wounds. Okay? 3 wounds. The 4th wound doesn't kill them. This is just a game the vampires are playing. They're not killing each other, right? They're just kind of wounding each other for fun because they're vampires at a masquerade party. But the 4th wound ends the game, right? I think they call it incapacitation. Regardless, it's the fourth wound. They have 3 wound tokens in front of them. So let's say Cindy, later in the game, Cindy has all 3 in front of her, right? And I attack at Cindy, and no one else is able to intercede because they've already have their rank tokens in front of them, so no one's left to intercede or no one wants to intercede. So Cindy has no choice but to take that 4th wound. The game will immediately end. As soon as someone takes their 4th wound, there's no token for it, but the game does immediately end, and you determine the winner. And here's what would happen. Let's say I did that. I attack Cindy, and she takes her 4th wound, and it ends the game. Everybody reveals their cards at that time. If Cindy's on the same team as me, I've incapacitated my own teammate, my team would lose. The red team would lose if Cindy was red in this example, right? So I want to make sure she's not on my team before I incapacitate her, before I do that 4th wound. But let's presume that I have deduced that she is on the blue team, and therefore, she's not on the red team. And by the way, I should just point out that it was just random draw that the blues ended up here and the reds ended up here. More typically, it would be more distributed, like there would be a blue here and a red over there. Regardless, you get it, right? It's a random. You randomly deal with the cards. So first check is, are we on different teams? We are. So that means that red could potentially win based upon the fact that I've incapacitated a member of the blue team. But red will only win if I have incapacitated the highest, meaning lowest numbered rank, because this is the highest rank, this is the lowest rank. Highest, lowest. So lower number, higher rank. Rank 2 outranks rank 7. So in this particular case, in our 8-player game setup, let us say that we didn't have the 1, because I want to talk about the 1 later. So I'm going to pick a different alternate card. So if this was all the characters in play, okay, were these characters here, and I managed to incapacitate the rank 2 player or character on the opposite team. Well, the other people on her team, I'm going to, do it kind of more like that, just because it's random. It should be random, not all of the blues sat next to each other. But regardless, notice that lower rank, it's a higher number, so therefore a lower rank, lower rank, lower rank. I have found and eliminated, incapacitated, eliminated, the highest ranked character that's in this game on the opposite team. That is the one and only way my team wins. So the game ends because I've done my 4th wound to her, and red will win in this case because I found the correct person to eliminate. We did not want to eliminate the 3. We didn't want to eliminate the 7. We did not want to eliminate the 8. We wanted, in this case, to eliminate the 2. Okay? Now, you would think, looking at this setup, that blue's objective would be to eliminate the 1, because the 1 is the highest rank between the 1, the 6, the 4, and the 3. That is normally true, except for the 1, known as the elder, has a particular ability, and it's the same ability for both teams, the 1. And that is, when they reveal that they have the 1, remember, this would be elimination, so their 1 would already have been revealed. So in this particular case, if someone on the blue team was making the last stab and they were doing it at this player, well, this player has already been fully revealed. Everybody at the table already knows this is the rank 1 red rose character. When they revealed the rank 1, at whatever point in time during the game they revealed this, they would have gotten this quill. And the quill says, specifically, The player from your clan with the highest number is now your clan's leader. So this person is now, when this got revealed, they get the quill. This person is now no longer my clan leader. My clan leader is now the individual at the table on the red team with the highest number, normally the lowest rank, but now they are the leader. So now it is this person that the blue team, 3, a 4, a 6, and a 1 is now this person that they would have had to have found and eliminated in order for the blue team to win. For the red team to win, the red team needs to eliminate the rank 2 because they aren't a rank 1, so they don't have a quill. The blue team does not have a quill in place on their side, so it is still the case that their leader is the lowest number, ergo highest ranked member from amongst them. Okay? So that makes the 1 a little bit tricky. If you think a 1 is in play, you need to get them to reveal that they're the 1 so that they reveal the quill so that then you can start targeting another player at the table that you think is the highest number on that team, and that's the player you actually want to eliminate in order for your team to win. If you don't think there's a 1, if you're pretty sure there's not a 1 on the other team, then you're just looking for whoever's got the lowest number. So you're trying to find, okay, it's 2 versus a 3. So let's say, let's do the example of Cindy has not revealed, her 2, right? And we don't, right? We don't know. But this person over here, let's call him Jason. Jason has gotten 3 wounds. So Jason's gotten a question mark, and a blue. And they are, not a blue, I'm sorry, a 3. A question mark, and a 3. We don't get to see Jason's card, but we know that Jason is a 3. So if I think that Jason is the blue 3 and I'm on the red team, I might be tempted to eliminate Jason on my turn. But if I did so, we would flip all the cards and red would lose because I did not eliminate the leader of the blue wolves. I eliminated second in command. This was the actual leader. I just didn't know that. The reason why I might make the gamble, however, is because they might be, narrowing in on whoever they need to eliminate here. So I just got to take my best shot. And when I look at the player reference, I see that this player and this player are both double question mark. So and if I think they're both on the blue team, if I'm pretty sure they're both on the blue team because I've identified who my red team members are, and therefore everybody else must be blue, kind of thing. Then I look and I see, okay, he's the blue 3 because I believe he's blue. So, and I think this person's blue. Well, that can't be the blue 3 because there's only one blue 3 and it's here. So they're either the blue 2 or they're the blue 4 because those are the only other 2 ranks that could have this double question mark situation. So I might just take a 50-50 gamble, hoping that this is the 4, and therefore I'm going to eliminate the 3 and we win. And if this was the 4, that 50-50 gamble would pay off. Red team would win. But if in this case, it turns out I guessed incorrectly, then we would lose. Conversely, I might not know that this person is the 2, but I know that they're either the 2. If I believe that these are both on the blue team, and I therefore believe this is the blue 3, I therefore deduce that this is either the blue 2 or the blue 4. If this person had earlier in the game interceded for this person, then I might be clued into the fact that this person at least believes that this person is of higher rank than they are. They were trying to protect them. So I might just go, oh, okay, I'm not going to eliminate them for now. I'm just going to do my 3rd wound to this person because we have to do 4 wounds total, right? So that they reveal that they're the 2, and I go, oh, okay, I did not erroneously end the game and cost us the victory by eliminating the 3, even though I had the opportunity, I knew, I deduced that that was probably not the best play. So therefore I went after them. And maybe the blue team was still, because now the blue player has the dagger, maybe now they'll stab at me and maybe no one can jump, intercede on my behalf and maybe they'll win. But it was the best I could do, right? That is the game. The game is to eliminate the leader of the other clan before the other clan eliminates the leader of your clan. Game ends as soon as a character is incapacitated / eliminated, which is our 4th wound, and then you just determine the winner. The team who did the stabbing either will win or lose based upon whether they stabbed the correct person or not. If they did not stab the one and only correct person they should have stabbed, then that team loses. If they did stab the one and only correct person that they should have stabbed, their team wins. Okay, so how do we play this differently than rules as written, and why? Basically, it comes down to, if you're even players, everything's by the book. Rules as written. When there are odd players, the book will tell you to shuffle in one of these. You randomly, do one of these Inquisitors. You'll notice one of these is a blue team allegiance. One of them, they're not blue or red allegiance. They're brown, right? They're Inquisitors, but they will reveal to their neighbor. One of them reveals a blue, the other one reveals a red. So you can't really guess if it's going to be Inquisitor or not based upon whether it shows blue or red. And when they take damage, they can take any of before they take their Inquisitor token, which activates their ability, they can take any of the 3 other types. They could take blue, they could take question mark, they could take red. They could take any of the 3 because that's what this is saying. They take an allegiance token of their choice, they take a second allegiance token of their choice, right? And then, but the problem so when you have, supposedly part of the rules, when you have an odd number of players, you would have an even number of like, let's say we had 9 players. We would do 4 random reds based upon, up here, not down here, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, because you'll notice this card over here, he'll give you a clue why. But 4 cards with red roses in the top corner, 4 cards with blue wolves in the top corner, right, randomly chosen, and then one of these 2 randomly and the other, face down outright. And you'd shuffle all these together and you'd pass out the 9 rolls. So someone's going to randomly be the Inquisitor. The problem is the Inquisitor sucks to be the Inquisitor, is what I'm going to say. The Inquisitor can only win based upon their ability. They cannot win with the red team. They cannot win with the blue team. This does not mean this red rose in their corner does not mean they're on the red team. They're not. They are on a team of 1. So they are at the disadvantage that they are 1 player versus 2 other teams of multiple players, right? Because you're not playing this 3-player game, right? You're doing this like, 6 or above. So, and you're doing an odd. So generally you're doing so if the Inquisitor's in, this is a 7 or a 9 or 11-player game that you're doing. So you've got a significant number of players on the other 2 teams, and you're all by yourself trying to win your own way. So the way the Inquisitor wins is when their token, they need their Inquisitor token revealed, right? And when their Inquisitor token is revealed, so they have to get that accomplished. So someone has to attack them and they have to choose to reveal that they're the Inquisitor. Then they are going to give their curse cards face down to players of their choosing. So they have 4 curse cards. They're going to look at them. They're going to put one face down in front of each of, 4 different players around the table. Okay? Then, at the end of the game, regardless, the game ends when someone's eliminated, you can reveal these. The false curses are all ignored. The one true curse, it says, if the victorious clan's leader has this card, the Inquisitor wins the game instead of the victorious clan. When the game ends, flip this card face up. So what this literally means is that the only way for the Inquisitor player to win is they have to have given this card to a clan leader. So this, in the case, remember, in this case, because there's a elder, there's a 1 for the red team, the 6 has become the clan leader. So the Inquisitor, at the point in time they're giving out the cards, they'd have to know that I have the 6, or that I have the highest number on the red team, and that the 1 has already been revealed, so therefore they're looking for the highest and not the lowest number of the red team, and that the red team is going to be the one to stab the leader of the blue team. It is astronomically impossible for the Inquisitor, at the point in time their Inquisitor token is revealed, to both correctly guess who both clan leaders are, right? Which each team needs to do anyways, figure out who the clan leaders are. They have to do that, but they also have to figure out which of those 2 clans is going to otherwise be in the victorious position. So if the Inquisitor player determines that, if they correctly determine to give me the true curse, because the other 3 are false curses, give me the true curse. Let's say they correctly determine that, that I had the highest number red, and that was significant because the lowest number red was the 1, so therefore the quill would come out, making me the leader, not them the leader. Let's say they figure that out, and they figure out to give me the true curse. Great. They still lose if the blue team wins. So if the blue team wins, it doesn't matter that the Inquisitor correctly figured out that I was the red team clan leader. They needed to, in that case, have given Cindy, in our example, the true curse. That is just way too impossible and way too unfun. It makes the person who got the Inquisitor not want to play this game. And it makes groups who play with this rule, no offense to the game designers, okay, but it makes when groups insist to play with this rule, then people don't want to play this game unless it's a fully even game. A 6-player game, an 8-player game, a 10-player game, a 12-player game. Well, that really cuts down the usefulness of a filler for large groups. Because when you're a large group, and you have people, coming late to the game, to your game session, or leaving early from your game session, that, you're waiting for people, or you're wrapping up, or whatever. That's when you're doing fillers like this, because this is a filler weight game. So, you don't have precise control over what those player counts are going to be. And so, 50% of the time they're odd, not even, right? So what we do instead, this is how we play. We ignore these Inquisitor cards. We ignore the curses entirely. What effect does it have on the game? None. And this is why. So if you never play with the Inquisitor cards, like literally, I just leave these in the bottom of the box. They never come out. Regardless of player count, and these, stay in my little bag with small cards, they never come out. The Inquisitor token, somewhere in here, there it is. Never comes into play. If we have an odd number, all we do is, like, let's say it's a 9-player game, is I will round up to the next highest even number, which would be 10, right? So then I'm going to randomly get 5 red and random 5 blue. Again, these are random, so these wouldn't be face up. These would be face down. And I'd get, I'd be a random 5 blue, a random 5 red. And I think you see where this is going. You take these 10 cards, you shuffle them, you deal out 9 because you've got a 9-player game in our example, right? That leaves you 1 card that goes out. We don't know if this was a red card or a blue card. We don't know what rank it is. You have uneven teams. One team will have 4 players. The other team will have 5 players. This does not negatively impact the gameplay at all. The reason being is because it is both an advantage and a disadvantage to have one extra teammate. Here's the problem, here's why. I'm going to review all of these to kind of demonstrate. If you are, okay, so in this particular case, we ended up with 4 red players and 5 blue players. Okay? So you would think, that the whole point of the Inquisitor mechanic is that there would be some inherent advantage or disadvantage to have an uneven team. We have played this game a lot, the groups I've been in, and it has never been an issue. It has never been an advantage or disadvantage. It balances out, and this is why. It's because in this example, the red players need to determine who their clan leader is, because they need to determine who they need to, throw interception off of, who they need to intercede for, who they need to, try to protect, right? And because there's fewer of them, they have. If I am the 6 in this case, I only have 3 other players it turns out that there's 3 other players at the table that I need to figure out are on my team. And of those that, I need to figure out that, it will come out that this is the one, because before they can be eliminated, it will be revealed that they are 1. Then I'm like, oh, well, I'm the 6. Am I the highest? Well, there's only 2 other players, and I'm a 6. So so I'm either the clan leader or there's a 7, 8, or 9, right? But there's only 2 of these. So if I figure out pretty quickly that this person's a 3, then I'm just worried about this one person. Versus if there was a 5th player on my team, there'd be 2 opportunities for them to be the higher number than me, versus only 1 opportunity for them to be the higher number than me. So it makes the red team's job of figuring out who their own leader is easier because there's fewer of them. It also, but on the flip side, that makes it harder for them to figure out who the blue leader is, because they've got 5, people that they need to, suss out on the blue team. But the blue team has the opposite problem. They might have, slightly easier time figuring out they have fewer red players to figure out who the, leader of the red player is, but they've got more blue players amongst themselves to figure out who their own leader is that they need to protect. Also, crucially, because the teams don't know their own teammates at the beginning of the game, this is what makes this really work. Uneven teams, this is what makes it really work, is that at the beginning of the game, none of these 4 red players know whether they have 4 or 5 players on their team. Likewise, none of these 5 blue players know whether they have 4 or 5 players on their team. So everybody is having to weigh both worlds in their head at the same time. They have to play the game as if they are on a 4-player team, but they also have to play the game as if they are on a 5-player team. They have to figure out which is the case. And both teams are facing that same equal challenge. So it all levels out. It's fine. There's never really, on many, many gameplays, we've not had a call-out discerning advantage or disadvantage to the team that had more, or had 1 more or 1 fewer players. It would be an issue if everybody started out knowing, oh, well, these are my, I'm on the blue team with 4 other blue players, and we can all gang up and coordinate our actions against those remaining 4 players who are on the red team. But that is not the case, because this person does not begin knowing the allegiance of anyone else here on the table like truly knowing their allegiance, even when they are shown the corner of the player to their right. Because I said I would get back to this card, and this is a brilliant card. Okay, but this player doesn't really know the allegiance of anyone to begin with, so they don't know what their team count is. They don't know whether they're the leader by virtue of elder or not, right? If they figure out that they are on a 5-player team, they will probably figure out they're probably not the leader, because the leader is either going to be a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, or there's a 1 in play, in which case their leader is going to probably be a 7, 8, or 9. They're in the middle, so in either case they will know they're probably not the leader. But if they figure out that, oh, I'm on a 4-player team and I'm 6, now I might very well be the leader if I've got a 1 on my team, right? So the advantages and disadvantages balance each other out. Let me get back to the Harlequin. So both teams have their 3 character, and the 3 character is three. Oh, here it is. Okay. I want you to notice these Harlequins. This is honestly a very clever part of the game, of this game's design, is that this Harlequin is on the red rose team. Your actual allegiance is up here in this corner. But what they are going to show their neighbor at the beginning of the game, right? When at the beginning you cover and show the person to the left. This is generally showing the person to your left your allegiance. But the Harlequin lies about their allegiance at the beginning of the game. Everyone else is being honest. Red allegiance, showing red. Blue allegiance, showing blue, right? But the Harlequin on each team lies. So if I am the red Harlequin, I'm showing my neighbor that I'm blue. So if my neighbor is blue, they think I'm on their team. Great. But if my neighbor is red, I don't know that they're red, and they don't know that I'm actually red. They think I'm blue, so it washes out. It's neither an advantage nor a disadvantage overall, except for the fact that when you have uneven teams, now you really, because you can have uneven teams, or whether you have even or uneven teams, you can never be 100% certain that someone is or isn't your allegiance. Because if I'm the 9, if I'm this 6, right? If this is me, and my neighbor is showing me this at the beginning of the game, I might assume they're on my team, because odds are likely, if they're 1, a 2, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, well, they're not the 6 because that's me. The odds are they're on my team. But there's always the possibility that they're not, that they're actually the 3. So if later I find out that they are the 3, and I remember that they showed me a blue, then I know they are on the red team, right? Because I know that the 3 just reverses, right? The 3 is always the opposite. So they showed me blue. I thought for half the game that they were on the blue team, but then later they get their Harlequin, and they have to put their Harlequin, wound, their rank token out. They reveal that they're the 3. Go, oh, well, if you're the 3 showing me blue, then you're not on my team because you're the red 3. Okay. And the Harlequin ability, when they do use their ability, is secretly look at 2 character cards. So that's a great ability. So Harlequin gets to know some great information, and they get to hide some great information. But it also makes it the case that even when you have uneven teams, it's not like even me and my neighbor who has showed me their card, I'm blue, they've showed me blue, and we can conspire to then work out the rest of the world. I might conspire with them, but I could be wrong, and they could perhaps be the Harlequin. Right? See what I'm saying? Even if I'm the Harlequin, they could be the other Harlequin. Right? See, because let's say I'm the Harlequin, so I know I'm blue, and I know that I'm showing my neighbor red, right? This is what I'm showing the neighbor to the left of me, right? I'm showing you red, but I know I'm really blue because I'm the Harlequin. Ha, 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 ha. Meanwhile, the neighbor to the right of me, they're showing me blue, and I'm like, oh, great. Well, I'm the blue Harlequin, and they're showing me blue. They're on my team. No, they could be the red Harlequin. So even whether you are the Harlequin or you're not the Harlequin, your neighbor to your left or your right could be a Harlequin. So because that's always a possibility, you're never 100% certain at the start of the game about anyone's allegiance. You just have a big hint that most probably you know the allegiance of the player to your right, but it's not a guarantee. And that really makes this game work. So that is how we play. We play per the standard rules, except for we don't play with the Inquisitor at all, because the Inquisitor doesn't really negatively impact the red players or the blue players. It just seriously makes the game unwinnable and unfun for the Inquisitor player, and no one wants to do that. So we just don't do it, and it doesn't break the game to not do it. All right. That is how we play Bloodbound. Thank you very much.